Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to learn how to express our data in a slope-intercept equation. We're going to use the same context where we're talking about profit. So again, we're running a candle business. Candles are $3, or their cost is $3 and they're sold for $10. You have the table and the graph, and we will build an equation from that. I actually want to build off of point-slope form to talk about slope-intercept form and then kind of make connections from there. So let's say I wanted to write the equation in point-slope form. That, to remind you of what that looks like, it'd be y minus your y coordinate equals your slope times x minus your x coordinate. Okay, so I can pick any point on this line and plug it in as the point, but I also need to know the slope. So just as a reminder, to get the slope, you have to rise, let's see, 50, 60, 70, 80, and run, that's 2, 4, 6, 8. So just as a recap, the slope was 10. Okay, so that's my m here, and I can pick any point on the line. So I'm just going to pick an easy one. Since it has 0 as a coordinate, it would make it easy. This would be the point 12, 0, which is over here on the table. And I'm going to plug all those in and get it in point-slope form, and it's going to help us derive slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take y and subtract my y coordinate, which is 0, and that's equal to my slope, times x minus your x coordinate, which is 12. Okay, that's an example of point-slope form. The good news is point-slope form and slope-intercept form are equivalent. So if you want to get slope-intercept form, all you need to do is solve for y, or isolate the y. Okay, again, I want to repeat that. Point-slope and slope-intercept form are equivalent, just sometimes one is easier to use than the other, or sometimes you might have a certain preference. So let's go ahead and solve for y. So y minus 0, that's just y, because you take away 0, nothing would happen. And then you have 10 times x minus 12. Okay, we're also going to simplify this by distributing the 10 to both parts. And you get y equals 10 times x is 10x. 10 times negative 12 would be minus 120. And when you isolate the y and simplify it, this is slope-intercept form. Why is it called slope-intercept form? Okay, I'm going to kind of scroll down and summarize that in the boxes below. So when you want to write an equation slope-intercept form, an example would be y equals 10x minus 120. There are two things you need. Okay, since it's called slope-intercept, the first thing you need is a slope, which you can see the slope here. Slope is 10. I'm just going to label those. Okay, the second thing is you need the intercept, and specifically the y-intercept. That's why it's called slope-intercept form, is you need the slope and the intercept. Here's the y-intercept on our graph. So this is the y-axis. This is where it intersects it. That makes it the y-intercept. The y-intercept of this graph was negative 100, you went 0 on the x, and you went down 120 on the y. Okay, so that point in our table, here's our y-intercept. And as you can see, our point is 0, negative 120, which means it's at y is negative 120. That's this number right here, is the y-intercept. So again, point-slope, or slope-intercept form is useful when you have the slope and the y-intercept. Point-slope form you use when you have a slope and any point. Okay, but they are equivalent, as you can see. If you distribute out point-slope form, so this was our point-slope form, it would be the same thing as putting it in slope-intercept form. It's just a different way of writing it. Okay, to summarize that, our general form of slope-intercept would be y equals mx plus b. Again, m is the variable we use to denote slope. I think m for movement, and b is the variable we use for our y-intercept. Okay, so another example, I'm going to make one up here, and you should write this down. Let's say you know you want to write an equation for a line with our slope, or m, is negative 1/2, and our y-intercept is 0, 30. Okay, all you have to do is take this equation and plug it in. So it'd be y equals, you plug in your slope for m, So substitute 1/2 in for m, times x, plus b is your y-intercept. So it's y-intercept, 0 is the x-coordinate, 30 is the y-coordinate, so it's going to cross the y-axis at 30. And that's how you would use that. Okay, so you know point slope form now, you know slope intercept form now. The most important thing is you're deciding which one to use and when. So again, you want to use slope intercept if you have the slope and a y-intercept. If you don't have a y-intercept, you want to use point slope because you can use point slope for any point. And that's why you need to know both, because you might be given different information at different problems. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, that slope-intercept form, you can use it to graph a line. So I could kind of go backwards here. I could start at my y-intercept. I'd plot that at 0, -120, and then I'd rise 10, run 1, rise 10, run 1, run, and I could get the line from there. So you can go both ways. Have a good rest of your day.